Welcome to Jalen and Jacoby. Happy Friday. We have the honor of having the champion. Kari Champion is with us today on Jalen and Jacoby. Thank you so much for taking the time to do the show.
Thanks for having me on the show. I'm so excited. I've begged your producer to bring me back since we hung out last time. I had so much fun.
It was great. I'm glad you're here. The big news of the moment is LeBron James has not opted into another year with the Cavs. However, that doesn't mean that much. He could still sign with the Cavs for about $1 million less than he would have if he opted in, but this also leaves it open for him to go to the Los Angeles Lakers. Is he concerned about all of this right now? Doesn't seem like it. He's in Anguilla. Anguilla. I did a lot of research on how to pronounce that.
Anguilla.
And, he's jumping off of things. Let's take a look at LeBron James on vacation here.
All right.
Here we go. Here we go. Hey, it's all about America. God. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You ain't ready. Let's go. Let's go. Black excellence.
Kari,
Let's go.
Kari, let's go.
Let's go.
When you watched all of that, did you expect it to be at least 4 times higher than it was?
Okay.
See, I thought he was going to be on the top of like a real cliff. Like, it was just like, let's go.
True
let's go.
story. I went to, this is first world problems. I went to St. Bart's and we got on a cliff extremely high. I chickened out. I got that high. I was like, no way. Not
You
happening.
didn't do it?
I couldn't do it. But everybody I was with did it and jumped. And I thought it was going to be something very similar to that. Although, maybe it is more than we assume, because he posted on IG last night. He said, y'all haters didn't believe. He had to go back and give us some BTS.
Well, we have a crack staff here at Jalen and Jacoby, and they've done some research on this. We've broken down exactly how high this is. Take a look here.
Okay.
We have learned that it's approximately 2.5 LeBrons, so we're going to call it about 17 feet, which is not that high to be jumping off of something. It's certainly not that high to do that much screaming and hollering and flexing before you jump.
2.5 LeBrons?
About 2.5 LeBrons. That's
okay, so what
it.
is 2.5 LeBrons? Because how tall is LeBron?
LeBron's approximately 6'8".
He's 6'8".
So we're going to say 2.5 LeBrons will get you to 17
what is that?
feet.
17 feet?
17 feet. That's basically like the high dive at like a fancy swimming pool.
Oh, that's not impressive to you?
Not impressive at all.
Okay.
Listen, when you're from Western Massachusetts, you jump off of high stuff. We don't have much else going on.
All right.
We've done a lot of that.
Up your game, Bron.
Another report from this morning comes from our colleague Stephen A.
Oh,
and Stephen A says that he heard that Cavs owner Dan Gilbert said that he wouldn't mind if LeBron James left because that would mean that he would get his team back. My question for you, Kari, does this kind of sound like breaking up with somebody before they break up with you?
Yeah, but the person's already broke up with you. Have you ever had that happen to you? I can tell you about that. Okay, so I have been broken up with before, but then I tried to act like it was mutual. I was like, I'm glad we came to this decision.
We all do that. We all do that.
Yeah, we didn't come to this decision. You broke up with me. So I totally get this, and I understand Dan, but he's always running his mouth, and I hope this report isn't true. But just chill out, because LeBron could have wanted to come back to Cleveland. He had no idea. That could have been, that's it. He just pushed him right on over the cliff.
I just love how Dan Gilbert acts like he's going to bring the ball up next year or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, oh, now I can get my team back because I really felt like he was taking away from a lot of my shots. My usage rate was down.
No.
It's like, Dan, you own the team, dude. You're a millionaire. It's your team.
He doesn't own the team. Sorry, I keep doing this. I apologize. Hair in my face. Okay. He doesn't own the team, though. That's why he's so upset. You know that, too, because LeBron is the GM. He is the president. He held him hostage. And I don't know. I don't know if he could. I think Dan allowed that to happen because he wanted a championship so bad. So that's on Dan. He can't be mad talking about I want my team back. That's on him. You own the team.
Well, something tells me that we'll hear a lot more about LeBron and his free agency in the coming days, but we still have this Kawhi Leonard thing floating out there. Mark Stein of the New York Times is saying that the Spurs are ready to deal Kawhi Leonard, and then Yahoo's Jordan Schultz is saying that LeBron actually spoke to Kawhi, and Kawhi reached out to LeBron. And there are some rumors that the Lakers are putting together a Godfather package to land Kawhi Leonard. You are a big Lakers fan. You are wearing a Lakers jersey. Would you support putting together a package that would include perhaps Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Hart, and a couple of first-round picks to land Kawhi Leonard? Would you support that type of leveraging the future for the present?
Okay, so here's a thought. I have a hard time believing the Lakers are going to give up every single person, every single young player, their future, especially, to be honest with you, especially Kyle Kuzma, for...
Yep.
It just doesn't make sense. But they can give up future picks, and they can give money. So I think a Godfather package doesn't necessarily include all of those players that you mentioned, probably the bulk. But if they kept one, they're probably going to keep Kuzma. That's what I think. Yeah. Don't you think?
Well, Kuzma himself was like, now that I'm hearing myself in these rumors, let me connect some dots here. Here's what Josh Hart tweeted, who's been speaking about getting traded. Josh Hart took to Twitter and he said, Kyle Kuzma, why we the only Lakers that didn't throw out a pitch for the Dodgers? Thinking emoji. Look at Josh Hart. Josh Hart, he's connecting the dots. Who's a part owner of the Dodgers, Ms. Champion?
That would be Magic.
Magic Johnson. So do you think there is a chance that perhaps Magic Johnson is not featuring these two young Lakers because these two young Lakers will not always be young Lakers for a long time?
You are absolutely correct. So they probably have to give up Kyle because Kyle is so valuable. So that's the only way. Because do you think Pop really wants Alonzo?
He's already said on wax that they're like, no, we're not really interested in Lonzo or LeVar or LiAngelo or LaMelo or
that doesn't fit. That doesn't fit with Pop's whole style. His stilo does not get down like that. So no, I'm with you. So perhaps that's it. Okay, so Josh, look, it was nice knowing you. It was great to have you on the team. I appreciate
nice
you.
Guy.
Kyle, you're great. Here's my thing with Kyle Kuzma. I'm going to tell you something right now. How I feel about him.
Please do.
Have you ever, his glow up came too quick for him because he's really feeling himself. I like you, Kyle.
He really is.
He's really feeling, he went from this nice, humble kid from Flint to now I wear velvet. And I was like, how do we go from humble kid to Flint to wearing velvet?
It was like hard scrabble kid from Flint working hard to play in the summer league to all of a sudden I have a mixtape and I wear crazy clothes and I'm embracing my NBA superstardom.
Yeah, and let me get rid of this Porsche that I have and let me get something better. Wait, what? You're 5. Chill out. Like you really just felt this love recently.
Well, perhaps you can enjoy Kyle Kuzma on the Lakers for longer because there are also reports that the Celtics are putting together some trade proposals that the Spurs are listening to. One of those rumors is that Kyrie Irving, of all people, could be included in a deal to get Kawhi Leonard in Boston. Do you think that this is a realistic possibility?
I think Danny Ainge is smarter than that. I don't think he would blow up the house to get. I think Kawhi is a great package, but I think Danny was like, I can wait till next year and get him when I know he's going to be here for some significant amount of time. Like, to me, everybody on that team is fire and dope. Those kids are special, and if he gets rid of anybody, it can't be at least his top 8. That rotation was so tight. I was like, what are you doing? Where'd you get these kids from? You landed gold. He can give up. He can't give up Kyrie. No, I think Danny's too smart.
Jaylen Brown is sort of one of the people that they're going to center a deal around, but I don't think Jaylen Brown gets done for Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
But one thing that's interesting about these rumors with the Celtics and Kawhi is the Celtics are one of the only teams that has said this. We're concerned about Kawhi's health. Like, yes, he only played 9 games last year. Was he able to play at the end of the year, depending who you ask? But do you think that his injury is a legitimate concern for all these teams that are leveraging their future in order to land him in the present?
For the Celtics, it's interesting because they've got a black cat around injuries right now, running around the organization focused on injuries. So what happened to Kyrie? Kyrie's knee was always bad. He just had to handle it, right? And then they had Sally. I'm glad Gordon's doing well, and he should be back. And then they had the thing with IT. His hip. They knew they had, bad goods. So for them, I would be concerned about that. I would want to know where he is in this getting healthy rehab situation. And realistically, can you project him being able to play? Because they've been sidelined the last 2 seasons because of something unexpected like this. So
it is. And also, when you look at Kawhi Leonard, I would have thought that he would play his entire career with the Spurs. Just his personality, his fit with the organization. I would have thought, this is someone who's not going to be a wild card. They're not going to make rash decisions. Yeah. And if you do trade away young assets and picks to land Kawhi, there's always the chance that he doesn't re-sign.
Yes. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
No problem. Don't apologize ever again. We're so happy to have you on the show. When we come back on Jalen and Jacoby, we'll still have Kari Champion, and Paul George has braids, and we'll read way too much into that regarding his free agency.
Yes, we will.
Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Still with us is Kari Champion in for Jalen. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Kari, you are a Lakers fan, and there you are in your Lakers jersey.
Shocking.
So just imagine this, Kari. Imagine LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George all come to Los Angeles, except they're on the Clippers.
You are.
Could you see that happening? How would that make you feel? Why are you laughing? This is a legitimate thing.
I was so excited. You fooled me. First of all, there is no scenario in which they would come to Los Angeles and play for a JV team such as the Clippers. There's just no scenario where that would happen. The Clippers will not win a chip, not in our lifetime, until they move out of the city of Los Angeles. Not in our lifetime. They need to be like the San Diego Clippers. That's the only way they're going to be able to ever win a chip. They always play in the shadow of the Lakers. It has been that way. Now, one of those guys could go there, but he wouldn't be happy. He just wouldn't be happy. You ever get a haircut? Sure you have, right?
Yes, I've gotten a haircut before.
And when you get a haircut, when someone starts cutting your hair, and it's someone you've never been with before, you know right away if they're good or bad, right? You can just tell the way they handle the
Clippers. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The way they even put the smock on, if you will.
Of course.
Just their whole energy, right?
I'm loving this story.
Because my point is this. The Clippers are like a bad haircut. You get in that organization and you're like, oh, okay, you guys don't know how to cut hair at all. I see. I see. You fooled me. I sat in this chair because you got a fancy, fancy salon, but you can't cut hair at all. And so therefore, that's what happens. When you come play for the Lakers, you're like, oh, I see. This is what a good haircut feel like. You know what I mean?
This is great because it's always funny. As a native Los Angelino, when players always say, I want to go to Los Angeles, it seems like they don't really mean the Clippers. We always talk about Paul George coming home to play and Kawhi Leonard's from Southern California. And we all talk about him being on the Lakers. But we have some breaking news about Paul George and his free agency. There's a lot going on as we get into the free agency deadline. Let's take a look at Paul George. This update. He's got braids. Paul George has braids. Now, Kari, obviously, in regards to his free agency, this means that actually I have no idea what this means. What does this mean for his free agency?
Do you know what this means?
Tell me what this means.
This means he is coming to LA because the best braiders are here in LA. The best cornrows are here in LA. The best braiders are here in LA. You can't get a good braider in OKC. And so this tells me he's coming to LA. Now, if in fact we see that Kawhi has new braids, brand new braids, not mushy braids, brand new braids, he too is coming. It
seems like Kawhi Leonard's braids always look like they were done 2 weeks ago, always. I don't know how that is.
Because they were done in San Antonio.
So this is interesting. Kawhi, what is his preferred hairstyle?
Cornrows.
Paul George just got
cornrows.
This definitely means that
they're coming in LA and playing for the Lakers.
First from Kari Champion on Jalen and Jacoby.
Yeah.
Well, in addition to the braids, there's some actual words that Paul George had about his free agency. Let's listen.
At the end of the day, that's all I want to do. I want to be a champion. In a way, it's like I want to come here, I want to play for the home team and put a Laker jersey on. That's always going to be something that I want to fulfill, but at the same time, it's like, what's the best move, though?
A lot of wine on the table there during that conversation. I liked it.
But did you hear what he just said?
Yeah, he wants to put on the Laker jersey.
I have one on now. Come home,
It's not
PG.
number 13. It's not number 13.
That's okay. We can fix it. It has a 3 in it. Come home, PG. Come home.
I always said you cannot spell purple and gold without PG.
What about those? By the way, have you seen? Oh, you're not here. They're in downtown LA. There are a ton of those billboards all over. I forget you moved to New York. You missed it.
I did miss it. Did you know that I actually made up the PG purple and gold thing, and someone told someone else about those billboards, and I have something to do with it. So if Paul George does come to the Lakers,
I didn't know that.
You owe me a beer. Moving on. This is something I've always wondered. There are reports that Jamal Crawford, one of my favorite players in the NBA, could potentially take a very small salary and join, wait for it, the Warriors. And this got me thinking, and this is something I've always thought, and something that Jalen always denied is a real thing that could possibly happen. Kari, why don't you think more players, veteran players that have made millions in their career, would take less money to join great teams and contend for championships?
They've done it before. Haven't they? I mean, we've seen it.
I mean, it's happened, of course, but it's sort of like the end of the career ring chasing stuff, like your Karl Malone, Gary Payton year.
I was just thinking about
that sort of thing. Like, it's
Chuck
happened
did
before, but like, I mean, actual like effective players like Jamal Crawford taking less money to sort of like join a quote unquote super team. I'd love to see that happen more.
I would think it would be ego. I would think if you're an effective player, and that's key how you place that. If you're an effective player and you know that you still have it, for you to join a super team like the Warriors, you know that you would be pretty much relegated to the bench, which he has been, but how much playing time do you actually get? Do people really value what you do? Like, people give JaVale McGee a hard time on that team, you know what I mean? And for different reasons, but I know he feels like he's just the other, not even the sixth man, just like the other man at times, which is not true. So I would think it's ego. I would think that their ego is like, I still go somewhere and ball. I still go somewhere and get some minutes. I don't have to be sitting all day, you know?
You actually sound like Jalen when you say that, actually, because he still thinks he can play. But we have a tweet. We have a tweet from Alice Kennedy, which is interesting, because we always talk about Paul George and Kawhi and LeBron joining on the Lakers. But here's what he said. Several veterans have told me they'd settle for a minimum deal with the Lakers if they land LeBron James. All eyes will be on LA, and very few teams have cap room this summer, so they'd have no trouble adding complementary pieces to fill out the roster. Zach Lowe also said that it doesn't have to be LeBron and someone else, that if LeBron ended up on the Lakers as they're currently constructed, that they could trade for somebody and free agents would find that to be a desirable destination. Could you see LeBron joining the Lakers, quote unquote, by himself, and then them adding players from there?
Oh yeah, no, I think he's coming no matter what. I think that we focused a lot on him chasing chasing Michael Jordan, but he's coming because he wants to do something more than that. And you've heard that. Our Ramona Shelburne reported that he's looking more like Muhammad Ali. He wants to be in that conversation about being more so effective off the court than on the court. So I think that he's coming no matter what. I think it's a lifestyle. I think that if you've ever been to LA, and you know this, you lived here. Come on.
I know. I just love that you're saying all this while wearing a Lakers jersey. You're like, he's definitely coming to the Lakers. I'm an unbiased journalist here.
I'm an unbiased journalist.
This is my unbiased journalistic opinion, is that he is coming to the Lakers.
I'm just being objective and fair. Yes.
Well, we have some important journalism after the break. We have an update on the guy who was hanging onto the hood of the car going 70 miles an hour down the highway. We now know what happened that led up to it. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Kari Champion in for Jalen. Thank you so much for doing the show today, Kari.
Thanks for having me on the show. Your producers are really tough. They're really mean. Whew.
They are. They work very hard.
Because we have stories like this to discuss. We have a very important update, Ms. Champion.
Uh-oh.
By now, we have all seen this video of this young man on the hood of a car going up to 70 miles an hour down the highway in Florida. And not only is he on the hood of a car going 70 miles an hour, he's on the phone while doing so. We have important information about this. We now know the reason he is on the hood of the car. The woman driving the car is named Patricia Isidore, and she and him have a child together. She was going to pick up the child. He did not want her to do so. Somehow he got on top of the car and she drove him around, and she said he had an opportunity to get off, which he did not take. He's actually calling 911. I have a lot of questions for you about this, Kari.
Yeah.
First question is, she was actually charged with, let me get this right, culpable negligence. Do you think the charges should be dropped?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Really?
not. Yeah, what's the problem? I can't even get that out. Like, are you kidding me? What are you doing? You guys are so upset with one another. You can't. And women sometimes, I don't know if you know this, Jacoby, we go crazy. And that's not a good representation of what we do. You've never heard of that before?
Never. I've never experienced that ever. I've never experienced that ever in my life, ever before. Never happened. Well, you know what happens when women go crazy? They listen to Drake. And they've got a lot of Drake to listen to. Today, he released Scorpion. 25 songs, 2 albums. Is 25 songs and 2 albums too much Drake?
No, never. Nice for what? I need anthems all summer long. I need these anthems to take me into the fall.
Okay.
So I appreciate everything that he's doing. There's an anthem there for anybody and everybody going through something. Take them into the fall.
Well, we all know that Pusha T said that he had a child on a diss track. He addressed that and saying that I wasn't hiding my kid from the world, I was hiding the world from my kid. What do you think about this revelation from Drake and this explanation?
I think that he was embarrassed. I think he wrapped his head around it. I think as an adult, he realized that he couldn't be what he had known in his life, and he's dealing with it now.
Well, I'm sure it's going to lead to more emotions and more songs and more
He's
tears.
a very emotional
while
guy.
Listening to
He's
this
an artist.
album over the weekend. I want to thank you so much for joining us, Kari. You can always see Kari on Sports Nation and various other programs all over ESPN. And be honest with Kari Champion.